Hello and welcome everyone to the start of a new year for FC Bayern Munich. 2026 starts against Red Bull Salzburg. Lukas Strickner, our man, pitch side in a very cold Salzburg at the Red Bull Arena Salzburg. We're hoping for an enjoyable game. There are only a few days of preparations during the winter break before the first game of the new year at the Allianz Arena on home soil against Wolfsburg. Today, though, the only friendly against Red Bull Salzburg. And the good news is that Lukas Strickner is not alone. A commentating legend here in Germany, Fritz von Thurn und Taxis, is also in attendance. A special matchup today. The fact is, yeah, I've spent pretty much my whole life in Munich. Special place in my heart for Bayern. Not as active now as a commentator, but you are an incredibly sharp analyst. How have you seen Bayern Munich in the first half of this season? I was very impressed with the philosophy, the way that Vincent Kompany has brought it over to his team to give absolutely everything into the last percent. And we saw that in the first half of the season. We've got an incredible attacking lineup as well, with Lennart Karl, who was sensational in the way he made an impact at the back. Manuel Neuer, so secure, and Jonas Urbich as well, a wonderful goalkeeper to have as backup. They had to fight a little bit at times because they were still a little bit vulnerable at the back to the end of matches. But the fact is, they've scored 85 goals. That hasn't happened since Uli Hoeneß was still playing, and he's a little bit younger than I, but he had his birthday the other day, so happy birthday to him and stay healthy. But yeah, we're certainly looking forward to what happens after the winter. And the fact is, we're hoping that everyone is on board at the start of the new year. What do you want this year? All three titles. The way this team is playing, there are a few new signings or new players that are coming into the mix, not new signings, the likes of Jamal Musiala, Alphonso Davies, Hiroki Ito. The fact is, if they can iron out the little things that cost them last season, I think they could win all three titles this season. Talk to us now about Red Bull Salzburg. You're very well prepared. What kind of game can we expect today? Both teams, in my opinion, have a nice mix. And I thought Vincent Kompany would put his strongest side out, but they've got a nice mix instead of young and old. And Red Bull Salzburg are a young team anyway. Alexander Schlager, the goalkeeper, is the veteran. Everyone else is 18, 19, 20, it feels like. We'll go through the Bayern lineup a little bit more during the match. I think it's a chance for everyone to make their mark. How things will play out come the end of the game, we'll have to wait and see. But pitch looks great. We'd love to be out on it ourselves. And the other thing that's important, full house tonight, over 30,000 in attendance. Fritz von Thurn und Taxis is going to join our German commentator Martin Zedlacek in the stands. Let's now hear from Vincent Kompany, who talked to Lukas Strickner earlier this afternoon. Now, the players always get an individual training program during the time off, and you could see immediately that they had executed it perfectly. After the first 2 or 3 training sessions, you can feel like you've got a team that are really hungry, and hopefully we can show that today as well. The important thing is that we all get back to full fitness, get a few minutes under the belt. But the fact is, the first couple of days back in training were good. How about for you? Were you able to turn off during the winter break at any point? Yeah, of course, it takes a little bit of time before you get that feeling of being on holiday, but I ultimately managed to get there. I've come back with a lot of energy, with a lot of motivation for what we can achieve in 2026 and what we want to achieve and what is still to come. There's a big schedule upcoming, but let's take a look at the squad. And one name that is very interesting for fans, Jamal Musiala. Can you give us an update on him? And are there other absentees today? Alphonso Davies, Sacha Boey, Manuel Neuer, of course, Jamal Musiala and Joshua Kimmich are all absent, but I don't think any of them will be long-term absentees. At the moment, it's part of the game. Some are ill, some are still going through an individual recovery program, and that's the case for Jamal Musiala. We've said that if he gets a few minutes in one of the next 3 games, then we'll be happy. But everything's going positively, but today it's just a little too early. There's only one friendly during the winter break here against Red Bull Salzburg. And then after that, a really tough run of fixtures, lots of midweek matches. What are you expecting? It's not just the midweek matches that are coming, but the fact that we start with 3 games in 6 days, especially when you come back from a holiday, but luckily the holiday wasn't too long. Everyone's come back pretty fit, and if the squad can survive this phase, then ultimately allows us to build into the decisive phase of the season in March, April, when titles are decided. Of course, we want to present ourselves the way we expect to, but the key is that the squad comes out of that tough run of fixtures feeling good and fit. Talk to us about a game like today and what you can draw from a game like this. It's going to be dependent on what happens during the game. Both teams are likely to make lots of changes during half-time. My hope is that we're just Bayern Munich. That for me, there's not much difference between the first minute, the last minute, a friendly game, a competitive game, the first half, the second half. We want to show our qualities, which we have a lot of. These are all things that I'm hoping for. And we're doing that against a very good opponent today. Vincent Kompany in a good mood and feeling that Bayern can build on where they left off around about a couple of weeks ago. And we're certainly looking forward to this game, and your commentators on the German side, Martin Sedlacek and Fritz von Thurn and Taxis. But here on the English side of things, you're joined by myself, James Thorogood, and delighted to have the pleasure of your company. A happy new year to you all. That's how we should kick things off in 2026, and Bayern are looking to kick things off in impressive fashion as well, taking on the league leaders in the Austrian Bundesliga, Red Bull Salzburg, and they, the league leaders, with a nearly unblemished record, come here looking to begin preparations, brush off some of the cobwebs that may have built up over the winter break. But as you heard from Vincent Kompany, he made sure that his players had enough to do during their time off. Everyone professional, staying fit, staying positive, and ultimately now looking to kick off the new year as Bayern want to end it, which is in winning fashion. 43 wins, 8 draws, 6 losses in all competitions for the German record title holders in the calendar year of 2025. Bernie's in attendance today at the Red Bull Arena as well. A lot of eyes on that man, Leonard Karl, under the hood. Plenty of requests, I'm sure, for his kit this afternoon. And plenty of Bayern fans have made the short trip south to Salzburg. Sub-zero temperatures. It is definitely a day for the thermal underwear. maybe a pair of gloves or two. Jonas Urbich, the man in goal, at least he gets to keep his hands warm. Harry Kane with the captain's armband today, braving the cold in the short sleeve shirt. You've got to respect that. Everyone all smiles in the tunnel. Vincent Kompany, though, has many times talked about the fact that as Bayern head coach, he sees no difference between a friendly match or a competitive one. He wants to win everything at all times. And that is the philosophy, ultimately, that he has instilled in this Bayern side, and it is what has produced such incredible results this season. 41 points so far in the Bundesliga, 13 wins, 2 draws, no losses. 2 games still to be played to close out officially the first half of the season, which in Germany has mirrored 17 games in the Hinrunde, 17 games in the Rückrunde, split half and half. Bayern kick things off on Saturday on home soil against Wolfsburg. Then the first of several midweek fixtures when they take on Köln on foreign soil before then travelling to Leipzig to officially kick off the second half of the season. These sides met this time last year here in Salzburg, and it was a 6-0 thumping for Bayern on that occasion. For now, a look at the starting lineup, starting with the home side. Alexander Schlager, the goalkeeper, is the veteran in a very young team. Franz Kretzig is a familiar face for Bayern fans, given the fact that he has moved from Bayern to Salzburg and starts at left-back with regular striker Petar Ratkov suspended in the Europa League. Today, a chance for Thomas Lech to give Karim Konate a run-out against elite opposition in the form of Bayern München. A clash of league leaders at the Red Bull Arena in Salzburg as Bundesliga table toppers Bayern München take on Austrian Bundesliga table toppers Red Bull Salzburg. A look at the Bayern lineup, and a nice mix of young and old. Cassiana Kiala, Santos Daiber and Wisdom Mike, all academy products being given a run out today. Jonas Urbich keeps his place in goal with Manuel Neuer still working his way back from an injury. Meanwhile, Harry Kane captaining the side and leading the line. What a phenomenal calendar year he had in 2025. He's hoping 2026 can be even better. Vincent Kompany has said that he believes Bayern have built a foundation to achieve all their goals in 2026. Today, the first step to building on that foundation as they look to make a positive start to the new year. Harry Kane and Mads Bidstrup, the 2 captains. Christopher Jäger is our referee, backed up by Amar Rekik, Marcus Reichholf and Florian Jäger, the 4th official. Not even for the mascots to stay warm, but now they get to run off the pitch. Job done. We are now seconds away from kickoff in what is, for Bayern, their one and only mid-season friendly before the start of the second half of the season, taking on Red Bull Salzburg. It was a 6-0 defeat for the Austrians this time last year. Vincent Kompany saw goals from Eric Dyer, Thomas Müller, a double from Michael Olise, Joshua Kimmich and Jonathan Asp Jensen in the scoring mix as well. Back then, Company said winning is always good, but more important was coming out with no new injuries, and that's something he'll be looking for today. Alexander Schlager will hopefully be looking to keep a more respectable scoreline from Salzburg's perspective, but Bayern are a free-scoring side. 85 goals in 25 games in all competitions. It is Salzburg who get us underway in this battle of table toppers. Bayern München, the visitors, making the short trip south from Munich for what is their only friendly during the winter break, and already 15 seconds on the clock, a crunching challenge. Sota Kitano taking out his fellow Japanese player Hiroki Ito, a man who has only recently, the back end of 2025, made his way back from an injury. A challenge that sets the tone. I'm not sure it's one that Vincent Kompany liked the look of. There he is, the Bayern head coach. What an incredible impact he has made. His first season was very impressive. His second so far, even more so. He returned Bayern back to title-winning ways after their first trophyless season since 2012 under Thomas Tuchel. Kompany got them back on title-winning terms in the Bundesliga. They fell short in the DFB Pokal and the Champions League. But the way they're playing, and the foundation they've built in 2025, already fans talking of potentially winning a treble. They've done it a couple of times before. Once under Jupp Heynckes, historically for the first time ever. Once under Hansi Flick. Just one loss for Bayern all season. That came in the Champions League against one of the other favourites to win the tournament, the side that currently topped the league phase, Arsenal. Salzburg not involved in the Champions League. There's a teasing delivery, works its way all the way through. Momentary panic there for Jonas Urbig, with Baidu on the move, but no touch meant there was no danger. Salzburg, they are in the UEFA Europa League this season, but really struggling. Just one win from 6 games, 5 defeats, sat 31st in the league phase and on course to get knocked out. Been a tough couple of years for Salzburg. They went through that wonderful period where they kept producing spellbinding talents, oftentimes picked up by Leipzig, or in Erling Haaland's case, Dortmund in the Bundesliga. Their academy hasn't quite been churning out the talent the way it used to in recent seasons. Last season finished second in the Austrian Bundesliga, the second straight season they failed to win the title after they had won 10 in a row previously, Salzburg. But now they are top of the Austrian Bundesliga by 3 points above Las Glitz. Of course, in the Austrian Bundesliga at the halfway stage of the season, the points tallies are also halved to make it more competitive in the second half of the season. But a bit like Bayern, Salzburg are laying the foundation to secure silverware. Cassiano Chiala just overran that one, but Kane was ready to recover. Chiala, who became the second youngest Bayern debutant in club history when he came off the bench in the 4-0 win against FC Heidenheim before the winter break kicked into gear. The only player younger was Paul Vanner when he made his debut in the Bundesliga against Borussia Mönchengladbach. For now, Wisdom Mike's done well to win the ball, and it might open up for Kane. He finds Elise instead. Elise back to Kane. Now with Stanisic. Guerrero waits at the back post. Elise, oh, lovely pass through to Stanisic. Heavy touch from Stanisic. Keeps it in play, though. Didn't fall kindly for Leon Goretzka. And now Upamecano races back to take the sting out of the situation. Former Red Bull Salzburg man himself, Dayot Upamecano. Went from Salzburg to Leipzig, which is an oft-trodden path. He's now making a name for himself with Bayern Munich, where he has developed into one of the best centre-backs in world football, Dayot Upamecano. Bayern desperate for him to sign a contract extension. One of a number of players with expiring deals. Harry Kane dropping deep to link up the play. Now will make tracks forward, but there's plenty ahead of him. Stanisic to Olise. Kane waits on the edge of the area if Olise wants to find him. Instead it goes to Ito. Ito, little check, and the strike, but dragged wide. A round of applause from Harry Kane. But he might have wanted to leave that type of positioning to the England striker. Not enough to trouble Alexander Schlager. Yeah, look at Thomas Lech, the Salzburg head coach. So that today is a good test to see where his side are at, but believes they are in a difficult and different situation to the one they were in this time last year when they suffered that 6-0 loss. He believes they're on a different level, despite a bit of turbulence this season, mainly due to injuries to key players. Underline the fact that Salzburg relishing the opportunity to take on one of the best teams in Europe. Chiala, one-on-one against Baidu. Fed in for the shot, which Kitano sends wide. A half chance where the pocket of space just opened up. Fancied his chances of testing Jonas Urbig. Sweetly struck, but always off target. Wisdom Mike asked to do a lot of running from that pass from Elise, but he does well to keep it in play. Ito now with Kane. Quickly squeezed out by two, but Kane snaps back in to make sure the outlet pass isn't free and easy. Bayern settling into a nice early rhythm. Controlling, composed as Guerrero. Cheeky touch, just got away from him. Given away cheaply though, and Ito to Wisdom Mike. Looking to turn the corner, but couldn't quite get the beating of Tim Trummer. Thomas Lech there just calling for a bit of calm from his players, because very intense start from Bayern. Bayern's first game, or competitive game of 2026, is on the weekend. Salzburg have to wait a lot longer. League action doesn't resume until February. But before then, they do have 2 games in the UEFA Europa League to play. One on home soil here at the Red Bull Arena Salzburg against Swiss side Basel, and then it's Aston Villa. They face on their travels at Villa Park as Upamecano. What a vital interception that was with Karim Konate. loitering dangerously. And that's it for Salzburg. There are 3 games before they resume league action. 2 in the Europa League and then 1 in the ÖFB Cup, the Austrian Cup, where they are due to face Wolfsberger AC in the quarter-finals on the 1st of February. Wolfsberger AC, the side they beat 2-1 before the winter break in their final game of 2025. Kerim Alay-Begovic bagging a brace on that occasion. They almost come away with it, Salzburg, but a big loose pass there from Baidu really led his side down, and now it might break for Bayern. Olise goes round the corner. Followed closely there by Shoan Gadu. Salzburg with a bit of an issue at centre-back right now. A host of injuries means that young academy prospect Yannick Schuster is the one partnering Gadu at the back, though. They do have Jakob Rasmussen on the bench. Kiala does really well there to read the play. His outlet pass to his fellow youngster. Wisdom Mike didn't quite hit the mark. (16 years old, 344 days when he made his debut. Paul Vanner was 16 years old and 15 days back in 2022. That 4-0 win for Bayern against Heidenheim. Stanisic, Olise, Diaz, Kane with the goals. Kane reaching 100 goal involvements in the Bundesliga. 81 goals, 19 assists for English star striker. Since data collection began, only Arjen Robben comes close. But it was a Kane record that was easily broken in the end, because Arjen Robben needed 119 matches to reach 100 goal involvements. Harry Kane needed just 78. And the numbers Kane's putting up this season are nothing short of absolutely insane. 30 goals in all competitions, not even half a season played. And that 30-goal output betters 5 of his previous seasons with Tottenham. Here he is in a more advanced position now, Harry Kane. Bayern have established control, but they're not forcing the issue, are they? There's an element of this game being a rhythm finder. In fact, his rhythm is a dancer. Bayern trying to feel it everywhere, but they've given the ball away. Salzburg can't make anything of it. Look how quick Bayern were to turn the ball back over in their favour. A sloppy pass or two can be expected today. given that this is their first game back since the winter break. But the endeavour, the hunger has to be there. That's what Vincent Kompany demands. Elise, almost turning it around the corner, but Franz Hetzig, the former Bayern Academy graduate, first to it, as Upamecano does well to handle the pressure applied by Edmund Bayrou. Guerrero just turned into trouble there. They congested in midfield, but again, quickly won back by Bayern. That ball recovery time, such a wonderful element of their style of play. Ito. Wisdom Mike turning on the afterburners to get to the byline. Won't get a corner. It had already gone behind for a goal kick. A very tricky customer, not just because of the pace he has at his disposal, but the ambition, the drive, the determination. Even in the limited minutes we've seen Wisdom Mike on a football pitch for Bayern, he has shown that tenacity, the desire to make an impact and not just make up the numbers. Lots of calls for time on the ball. It's a wonderful element of Bayern under Vincent Kompany. At times they're very measured, at times they're just ruthless. Right now they're feeling their way into this game, but they have already established a pretty firm grip on proceedings. Just over a quarter of an hour played. No real goal-scoring chances to speak of. Two half chances, one at either end. Hiroki Ito dragging wide at one end, so to Kitano at the other. Now though, Harry Kane forced wide. Dug out the cross, but goal kick Salzburg. So far, no work to do for Alexander Schlager. It's all tightened up in midfield. A lovely line-breaking pass there, and Salzburg are on the move. Space to work with, and the pass from Bischoff lacked the accuracy that Konate needed. And a good save as well from Schlager. Nothing to do so far, but Michael Elise almost produces one of his moments of magic. A little flash of brilliance. The pocket of space opened up, and Schlager's palms stung well by Michael Elise. Corner for Bayern now that they'll look to capitalise on. Kane, an obvious target, but there's plenty in there for Bayern. Ito, Upamecano, Kiala. Oh, Josip Stanisic, well. Surprise taker. Great delivery, though. Well defended. Comes to Wisdom Mike. Guerrero. Quintana did really well to anticipate that touch from Rafael Guerrero, but foul committed. Wisdom Mike, driving forward, look at the bounce, and well, half cross, half shot in the end from the young 17-year-old. The endeavour is there. The end product will come with time. The rub with the green was on his side in the end. No one on the end of what looked to be a cross. Bayern getting a few more touches in the Salzburg box, though, which will certainly be of concern for Thomas Lech. Now Elise, another touch in the box. I just hesitated a touch too long. And in the end, he is penalised for impeding Salzburg's ability to clear the ball. Probably needed to get the shot off when he faked it instead. In the end, too congested. 3 for company. A little hold of the foot there from Michael Elise. Yeah, even in a mid-season friendly, you're not going to get the luxury of time and space on the ball. Karim Konate. Quintana back to Schuster, the young centre-back. Now to his captain Bidstrup. Quintana. This is neat play by Salzburg, but it just breaks down after a loose first touch. The killer of so many good footballing moves. Schlager goes long, but Upamecano wins out. Goretzka looked for the flick on. Can't cut out the pass, and now it's Baidu on the move again. Konate in the middle. Baidu can't get the beating of Hiroki Ito, who stands his ground well. I think that long ball tactic is probably ill-advised from Salzburg's perspective, because Upamecano right now whether it be against Kitano, Baidu or Konate, has the winning of aerial battle. There's also credit to Bayern, the fact that they're forcing Salzburg into resorting to that long ball, given how ill-advised it is. Let's go Bayern score a goal is the chant from the visiting fans, of which there will be plenty today at the Red Bull Arena Salzburg. Ground that holds just over 30,000. At minimum, 26,000 were expected today, but something tells me there might have been a few extra tickets sold pre-kickoff. Ito, loose header straight to Bidstrup, can't win it back. Fizzing ball into feet. Now Baidu. Kiala again. Just marshalling the ball out of play in a manner not befitting a teenager. Understandable to see why he is held in such high regard. Wisdom Mike. Tim Trummer not biting on any of the bait he was hanging out, as Santos Daiber can't find his fellow Portuguese midfielder, Rafael Guerreiro. Nice idea. Kiala, who celebrates his 17th birthday in 5 days' time on the 11th of January. Now, you've got to be a special talent to make your debut for Bayern at the age of 16. Very few have done it. Oh, Carrero. The ball never shifts from that left foot of his, but he has the ball on strings, as well as his opponents. Couldn't pick out Wisdom Mike's run. But another corner for Bayern. Approaching the half-hour mark, a game that certainly could do with a goal. Michael Olise. Back to Stanisic, change of angle. And another. Olise feeds it in. Guerreiro almost there. Meccano rises but can't get any pace or power behind the header. Connected with it while he was already falling to ground, seemingly, the Frenchman. Olise finding Harry Kane. To Goretzka. Olise. Stanisic, who has stayed on this left side since taking that corner. Bayern try to pinch. On a couple of occasions they come close to winning the ball, but now finally Goretzka battles away in midfield, but loses out against two in white and red. It's a lovely run being made by Soumaila Diabate. Oh, Meccano again, just monstrous defending at the back. A name that so often comes up as one of the toughest centre-backs that Bundesliga players have faced. Dayot Upamecano, a formidable reputation, well earned as well. Make no mistake, he takes a few risks with his defending. It can be very front foot. But he is one of the best in the business. And it would be huge if Bayern were able to secure his services long term, with his contract expiring at the end of this campaign. Nice ball from Trummer. Baidu finding Konate, back to goal. Tees it up for Franz Kretzig. That would have been the story if he had scored against his former club. But now he's got to get back into position because Michael Olise is looking to capitalise on the space he's left. Wonderful footwork from the Frenchman. Oh. Makes everything look so effortless, and yet the degree of difficulty is through the roof. Someone that you just can't help but appreciate the football, the joy, the purity of it all. Here's Michael Olise. It struck back to Baidu. Trummer behind him. Trummer. Little phase of possession here for Salzburg, either side of the half-hour mark. Gitano deflected, and Urbig did really well to get down quickly. Sota Gitano, the only man to have had a sight of goal so far this afternoon for the home team. His first shot went wide, the second took a clip on its way through, but Urbig had it covered. Now Gitano, oh, huge chance! Oh, Santos Daimer with a double clearance, almost got his feet in the muddle. But the young Bayern midfielder found his feet at the vital moment. Bidstrup won the ball from the clearance, and Gitano, well, hesitated far too long in getting the shot off. And in the end, that is a real spurned opportunity for Salzburg. They've barely had a sniff at goal. David Santos Daiber, right place, right time. Brilliant play. Corner initially comes to nothing. But that's a lovely chance for Trummer, and his first touch just gave Upamecano the chance to poke the ball off his toes. Now, the game's certainly come to life, though. Bit of a slow burner so far. The fact is, no matter the scoreline, I think we can probably expect changes from both teams at half-time. Now Stanisic sells Ito short. Bidstrup loses out in the end against Ito, and what a turn that was from Harry Kane. He's got Stanisic streaming to his right. Olise outside him. Four in the middle now, making their way into the box for Olise to work with. Went to go it alone against Kretzig. Kretzig came out on top. Olise, though, looking to win the ball back, and he's done well here against Bischoff. Then he gets the free kick in a very promising position. And Michael Olise will likely have his name near the top of the list of players to take this free kick. Clement Bischoff. Not to be mistaken with the Bischoff on Bayern's books, who goes by the name of Tom. The big difference is that Clement Bischoff has 2 F's in his last name and Tom has just 1. Just over 10 minutes of this first half remaining. Olise fizzes it in but can't find a teammate. That little flurry of chances, though, after the half-hour mark. Warnings that Bayern need to heed. Olise, lovely weaving run, finds Ito with a piercing pass. Fortunately, his pass was behind Wisdom Mike, who lost his footing in his attempts to rescue the situation. Konrad Laimer, Lennart Karl, 2 first-team regulars, along with Luis Diaz there in the first half of the season. Of course, Lennart Karl grabbing headlines in the last couple of days for some interesting comments made during the traditional and annual fan club visits that Bayern take part in. Players get sent to various different fan clubs around Bavaria to go and make their presence felt, to answer a few questions, take part in a few fun activities. For Luis Diaz, he ended up yodeling for the first time in his life, and I have to say, not a bad effort for his first crack at it. The Colombian, who during the winter break did release his first ever music single called La Promesa, The Promise, a song that depicts his rise from the streets of Barrancas to the big time in European football with Porto, Liverpool, and now Bayern Munich. Well, cheeky pass from Wisdom Mike, and Harry Kane wants the foul, doesn't get it. Felt he'd skipped away, but the referee saw things differently as Urbik channels his inner sweeper keeper. Gadou just waited on the ball there. Pressure applied as a result, and Schlager once again, not for the first time this afternoon, forced to play the ball long. Stanisic tried to bundle his way through unsuccessfully. The break might be on here as Konate has turned the corner against Upamecano. Momentarily out of position. Oh, lovely play by Konate to find Baidu. Square ball! Finds the side netting. It's Kitano again with the chance. He's been the star man for Salzburg in this first half, but this is all about the brilliant play from Karim Konate. Wonderful footwork and ingenuity to pick out the pass to Baidu, who did the right thing in squaring it, and if anything, Kitano wasn't ready for it. Another chance wasted for the hosts. It's fair to say that this game has taken on a very different complexion to the one this time last year. Won 6-0 by Bayern. Comfortable to say the least. If last year was comfortable, this year is certainly competitive. David Santos Diver protests his innocence. protests that, as they so often do, fall on deaf ears. Free kick taken short, but charged down by Josip Stanisic. Kretsic has a bit of space to work with, but Elise back to do the defending. Kept in play. The helping hand from Pavlovic, and then says thank you very much to the goal kick to Franz Kretsic. Round the corner for Baidu, who's been a nuisance all afternoon, and his pass doesn't pick out Kanate. Might still come to something for Salzburg as Trummer goes sliding in on Harry Kane. Their head coach Thomas Lech said that they were at a very different level than they were this time last year, Salzburg, and his side are proving that with their performance so far. A lot to like about the Bayern performance, plenty of positivity. A performance that ultimately will be taken with a little pinch of salt given the circumstances, and this being the first game back of 2026. Bayern not at full strength. Fans on company talking before the game about the fact that Alphonso Davies, Sacha Boey, both out ill. Joshua Kimmich is working his way back from an ankle injury. Jamal Musiala is back in training and on the cusp of a return following that nasty leg break against Paris Saint-Germain in the Club World Cup in the summer. What a gift he is going to be for Bayern in the second half of the season. You wouldn't have exactly noticed his absence in the first half, but that was because of Bayern's quality, not because of Musiala's lack of it. What an enrichment he will be when he does return, almost like a new signing. Cross from Wisdom Mike lacked the pace and precision it needed. Ito loses out in the 50-50, and now there's space for Kanate, but Urbig spotted the danger. Lovely pass by Wisdom Mike, turned around the corner for Guerrero, but again he was caught on his heels a touch there. Now they've got some big name experienced players out there, but they're not exactly putting Salzburg to the sword. Again, Bayern haven't exactly struggled for goals this season. They might still get one before half-time. Goretzka unable to turn, but now gets it back from Elise and bursts into the box. Leon Goretzka. Harry Kane on the turn, and Schlager with a foot to the ball. Ito, full of effort! And Bayern have the breakthrough. A wicked deflection on its way through. But Hiroki Ito scores Bayern's first goal of 2026. The rub of the green was on Bayern's side. Schlager did well to make a sharp save from Kane's snapshot. But in the end, I think this took 2 deflections on its way through the volley from Ito. Kitana perhaps with the first, Schuster perhaps with the second, but Schuster's was the decisive one.
Okay. Hey! Okay, Yannick!
Virtually with the final kick of the first half, Bayern break the deadlock through Hiroki Ito's deflected effort. The German record title holders have been the more dominant side in this clash of league leaders. They do deserve the lead at the break, but it's a narrow one. At half-time, it's Salzburg 0, Bayern 1. Well, that'll be a tough pill for Salzburg to swallow on the stroke of half-time. But Bayern had been the better team. They've been creating more opportunities and better ones as well. As we revisit the highlights from the first half, started with this Michael Olise effort from range. First touch into space, set himself up for the shot superbly. Alexander Schlager equal to the effort. At full stretch, diving to his left. Michael Olise, who has been in fine form this season. And so close to an opening goal there, but I think it's fair to say our German commentators, Martin Sedlacek and Fritz von Thun and Taxis, enjoyed it as well. And then the decisive moment on the stroke of half-time. Kane was denied, Olise kept the chance alive. The clearance not completed by Salzburg, and Hiroki Ito put it into the mix where it got a decisive touch off the foot of Yannick Schuster, the young Salzburg centre-back. Schlager completely bamboozled, and Bayern with a precious 1-0 lead at the end of what has been a competitive first half here at the Red Bull Arena Salzburg. This time last year, Bayern were running rampant in a 6-0 win. Today, proceedings have not been as straightforward. The hunger, the desire, and on this occasion, a little bit of luck have been there for the Bundesliga league leaders. But at 1-0, a game far from decided, plenty to play for in the second half, and something tells me we'll see a host of substitutions either at halftime or during the course of the next 45 minutes to come. That's why that opening goal on the stroke of halftime for Bayern is so important. Unless we forget, they have scored 2 or more goals against every single opponent faced so far this season, with the exception of 1. And that was in their only defeat of the campaign so far, a 3-1 loss to Arsenal. Otherwise, they have been in free scoring form. And now that the deadlock is broken, maybe we'll see more of that after the restart.
So sieht's aus, Martin und Fritz. Vielen Dank bis hierhin. Wir freuen uns auf
Down to our man on the sidelines, Lukas Strickner, who is with the board director of sport for Bayern, Max Ebel.
Wie waren die ersten 45 Minuten? Kurz mal durchatmen, oder?
How did you find the first 45 minutes? Yeah, Salzburg did well, and it's always difficult to come to a place like this. I remember in my playing days, there was a big defeat I suffered here. The fact is, we had a 5-10 minute period where we had a little bit of luck on our side. The important thing is that we're getting our rhythm, we stay injury-free, and so far so good. So when it comes to transfer business in the winter break, you've made it quite clear that there will be no transfer activity, but there are 2 big players coming back from injury. Jamal Musiala, Alphonso Davies. How important are these comebacks? So important. Both are exceptional players in their positions, not just in Germany, but Europe-wide. Of course, we had the situation with Hiroki as well. The fact is, we wanted to still build up a team despite the injuries to players like Davies and Musiala. Now we've got these internal new signings, so to say. It's a shame that Alphonso Davies is ill today. Jamal Musiala still has a few light problems, but nothing serious. It's great that they're coming back. We're very happy that they're going to get their minutes in the next couple of weeks. And then hopefully when it really counts in March, April and May, that they'll be at their top level. It's a short winter break and preparation. Today, very cold as well. We didn't have a winter training camp, but of course it's been snowing in Munich, Sevenerstrasse the last couple of days. During the first half of the season, we flew a lot. Of course, we had the Club World Cup as well, which was fantastic for us, even if it ended dramatically. But with this short preparation, we wanted to let the lads stay at home. The fact is, we wanted them in a game like today to get used to the conditions of playing in the cold, because that's likely what it'll be when we play Wolfsburg, Köln or Leipzig. We don't have the sun and the warmth, but ultimately these players are finding their feet. What's left in this year, 2026? Well, you look at the way we've played as a team, the way we've played football, the way we wanted to score, the way we defended our own goal as well. Then if we can manage that over the next 5.5 months, then a lot is possible. But we have to take it step by step. And that's the way we're approaching our work as well. We're in 3 competitions and right in the thick of all 3 of them. The German Cup, we're looking really good. In the Champions League, the same can be said. Chance to be in the round of 16 based on my calculations. I hope that's the way it stays as well. But then it's about being there in the decisive moments. We've got a team that have a lot of hunger and lust. And you, Max Abel, were also part of the traditional fan club visits. Let's take a look.
Ja, ich glaube, das zeichnet den FC Bayern München aus. Wir sagen ja immer, wir sind eine große Familie und da gehören natürlich unsere Fans dazu. Und wir sind jetzt seit 40 Jahren mit diesen Weihnachtsbesuchen, oder in diesem Jahr ist es ein Neujahrsbesuch, unterwegs. Und das ist gelebtes Mir san mir, dass wir auch rausgehen. Die Fans kommen das ganze Jahr zu uns ins Stadion, helfen uns, unterstützen uns. Und einmal im Jahr gehen wir raus. Das ist ein Geben und Nehmen und so soll es sein.
Es gibt keinen anderen großen Club in Europa, der überhaupt eine solche Tradition pflegt, dass wir mit den Spielern, mit dem Vorstand, mit dem Präsidium rausfahren zu den Fanclubs. Weil letzten Endes sind es die Fans, sind es die Fanclubs, die uns unterstützen, die auch bei miserablen Wettern in der Kurve, überall im Stadion für die Mannschaft schreien und uns unterstützen. Und deswegen ist das aus meiner Sicht eine ganz, ganz wichtige Sache und die werden wir auch sicherlich die nächsten Jahre weiter fortführen.
Es wird auch unheimlich geschätzt von den Fans und wir hören es ja gerade, sie singen schon Ole FC Bayern. Aber ich kriege auch viel mit an Ideen, an Anregungen, auch was die Fans bewegt. Und insofern ist es sehr, sehr gut, wenn man sich da austauschen kann.
Ich freue mich sehr, hier zu sein und vielen Dank fürs Vorbereiten und für den Empfang. Dankeschön.
Also es war eine wunderschöne Veranstaltung, fand ich. Mehr als 200 echte Bayern-Fans, die auch viele interessante Fragen gestellt haben. Und da merkt man wieder, welche Leidenschaft bei den Fans für den FC Bayern da ist. Und darum ist es auch so wichtig, finde ich, dass wir rausgehen und uns mit den Fans unterhalten. Und das ist was Wunderschönes.
Ich wünsche mir vor allem, dass wir bei dem, was wir tun, dass wir miteinander Freude haben, dass wir aneinander Spaß haben. Und wenn wir das miteinander haben, dann glaube ich, stellt sich der Erfolg von alleine ein, weil die Qualität ist sowieso da. Und das sehen wir aktuell auch an einem begeisterten Fußball, den wir spielen.
Ich habe dir 2 Jahreskarten von unserer Fußballmannschaft vom SC Frasdorf organisiert.
Jonas, ein Kopfball, komm.
Den haben wir ja heute beim Zeit.
Hello and welcome back everyone to the Red Bull Arena Salzburg, where we are enjoying a mid-season friendly, and you can see the Salzburg lineup on your screen. That's because a host of changes made at the break by the home side, and something tells me Bayern will be doing similar, and we can already see some of the fresh faces coming off the bench there in the tunnel, ready for the second half. So let's take a look at that lineup, which is all change. Not a single player stays out on the pitch for Bayern from the first half. Vincent Kompany wanting to give everyone minutes here, including first-team regulars, fringe players, and in the case of some of his academy products. Little debuts for Bayern, special moments during the winter break. Some experienced heads, though, to guide some of the younger players. Serge Gnabry will lead the line in place of Harry Kane. And Bayern with that 1-0 lead, fashioned right on the stroke of half-time. Looking to build on the foundation of Hiroki Ito's deflected volley. Konrad Laimer named the Austrian Player of the Year for 2025. Back on home soil. Still plenty of familiar faces. Stefan Leiner there. Those two know each other well from the Austrian national team and their time in the Bundesliga together with Leipzig and Borussia Mönchengladbach respectively. Karim Onisiwo, a player familiar to the Bayern team, given his time with Mainz in the Bundesliga and the tricky customer he regularly proved to be. He's a very physical striker, not quite as mobile as Karim Konate, but he will bring very different qualities to the table for Salzburg in this second half. The question for the home side is, can they find a way back into the game? They've made it a lot more competitive than they did this time last year when they suffered a 6-0 defeat. But they do find themselves behind. Wholesale changes made by both teams. But what impact will that have on the second half as Bayern get us underway? Going from left to right in their all-black kits. Salzburg from right to left in red and white, as Lennart Karl is the intended target for that first outlet pass from Sven Ulreich, but goes astray. The youngster who grabbed headlines during the recent fan club visits, which he got to see a little bit of the behind the scenes of during half-time here on the FC Bayern TV Plus coverage. Welcome along. Happy New Year to you. Bayern looking to pick up in 2026 where they left off in 2025, and that is on winning terms. And so far, so good. They're finding their rhythm. Valuable minutes for match sharpness, match fitness. And now 11 changes made at the break by Vincent Kompany. Lennart Karl admitted when asked at the fan club visit he went to about future plans, he did say it's his dream to play for Real Madrid. Not something you hear a lot from Bayern players, and it caused a ruffle in the Bayern fan base as well, understandably, because Lennart Karl is a player that a lot of people are very excited about, and understandably so, given the impact he's made in a short space of time with Bayern, aided, of course, by the injuries to Jamal Musiala. But he still had to seize his chance, the 17-year-old, and there a lovely pass out to Serge Gnabry. Gnabry looking to fashion a chance for a shot, and well, always rising. But you've got to appreciate the ambition there from Serge Gnabry in the opening exchanges of this second half. Bayern will look to set the tone once again. Gnabry helping them do that. with that wayward effort. Just to go back to those Lennart Karl comments, it's one of those where he is a young player, and you have to appreciate the refreshing honesty, whether it was well advised or not. The fact is, he's made no secret in the past of his desire to join Real Madrid, and that was long before he made the breakthrough with Bayern. Something tells me he said it as a rather flippant comment, thinking that maybe it was common knowledge in the fan base. He did have a trial with Real Madrid when he was still in single digits in terms of his age. The fact is, Real Madrid have noticed his talents. They've already scouted his talents, but it's with Bayern he's made the breakthrough. He's got a long-term contract with them. And even if Real Madrid might be Lennart Karl's dream club, Bayern are not the type of club to make moves like that easy. They will have to benefit them as well. And the fact is, a move like that, something tells me, is a long time in the future. Because Lennart Karl still has to earn his stripes at the highest level, despite the impressive start he's made. Now Diaz, oh, what a drive. The overlapping run from Dennis Öfli. Fed by the Colombian, struck straight into the chest of Christian Zawishitsky. Would have knocked the wind out of many a player, but Zawishitsky deals with it well. Stoppage in play just due to the pyrotechnics that have engulfed one corner of the pitch right now. A chance to look at the changes made by Vincent Kompany at half-time. Sven Ulreich comes in between the sticks. Konrad Laimer, Min Jae Kim, Jonathan Tah and Dennis Öfli, the young German-Turkish left-back, make up the back four. You've got Alexander Pavlovic and Tom Bischoff anchoring midfield. Lennart Karl on the right wing, Luis Diaz on the left, and Felipe Chavez, the Peruvian, through the middle, in behind lone striker Serge Gnabry, who was making a good run there. Diaz spotted it but couldn't provide the pass to find it. Now won back by Öfli. Bayern trying to put themselves on the front foot early here in the second half. Build on the little bit of momentum that Hiroki Ito generated right before the break with that opening goal. Lennart Karl round the outside. Ball didn't sit up kindly there for Tom Bischoff, and Pavlovic won it back, but not after a foul had been committed. Öfli just, catching the ankle, the heel. Certainly not a pleasant experience, especially given the chilly temperatures. That's neat play. Aguilar coming forward for Salzburg, stopped in his tracks vitally. Poor pass by Karl, looking for Pavlovic. More composure needed there. Well, Salzburg momentarily forced backwards, and the long ball forward was hopeful, but in the end a bit hopeless. Raking pass, Diaz doing the defending. What a signing he has proven to be. The Colombian brought in from Premier League champions Liverpool. side that have dropped off a little bit this season. Diaz has not. Diaz has gone from strength to strength, and with Bayern he's found another gear even compared to the one he had at Liverpool. Here he is, Luis Diaz, weaving his way through. Gnabry might have been offside, and the flag did go up against Serge Gnabry after some delightful play there from Luis Diaz. The run a touch too early, the pass a touch too late. Never a great combination.
Ich meine, für mich kannst du ruhig gehen. Du musst einfach dafür sorgen, dass Mau erst die Mitte zumacht, weißt du?
Min-Jae Kim. Pavlovic. There's a lunging challenge there on Pavlovic. He did well to make sure it didn't prove problematic. Pavlovic, such a wonderful player to watch. For young players that have dreams of maybe playing for Bayern in the future, the one thing to pick up from his game is how he handles the pressure being applied by opponents. He is one of the best around at that. As Lima now drives forward, well, I think Diaz might have been offside. The Austrian Player of the Year, Konrad Lima. The unsung hero for Bayern, in the opinion of many. The likes of Elise Kane, Diaz, they grab the headlines. With their attacking output, Joshua Kimmich with the way he leads and controls, but Konrad Lima, I tell you what, if you took him out of this Bayern team, I'm not sure they produced the results they've produced so far this season. And scored as many goals as they have as well, because Konrad Lima is such a key piece of the puzzle. Cross, almost not gathered at the first attempt there by Zawishitsky. It was Lothar Matthäus that once described Alexander Pavlovic as a great talent, said that ultimately he needs a bit of support, and he's gotten it as well. Hasn't had an easy time with injuries either, Alexander Pavlovic, and he's had some of the more unique injuries or illnesses that you can have in the world of professional football. Broke his collarbone against Stuttgart at one point, ruled out with glandular fever at another. Sven Ulreich's first involvement in this game is a comfortable one. Oh, Gnabry teeing it up for Chavez, and well, the pass to Chavez just lacks that little yard of pace. Here he is, Chavez. Gets it out to Offley. Bundled over in the box, but no foul given for the challenge on Luis Diaz. I don't think it was the cleanest of challenges, but I don't think it was the clumpiest either. Diaz, though, so determined to make an impact off the bench. It's exactly why he has quickly endeared himself to the Bayern fan base as well. It was James Rodriguez who said and predicted that Diaz would be a perfect fit for Bayern, the man who once spent a spell on loan in Munich, 67 appearances, 15 goals, and well, James Rodriguez has been proven correct, because Diaz has been a delight in his debut campaign in the Bundesliga. 8 goals, 6 assists in 14 games, so 14 goal involvements in 14 games. That's mesmerizing stuff. Some big moments in the Champions League as well. Lovely passing play by Bayern. Lima with space. It comes to Karl. Fleet footwork from Karl, and he stings the palm of Savishitsky with a testing effort at the near post. Now had a little bit of venom. Goalkeeper always favoured from that type of angle. Well, there we see, yeah, that was a penalty. The problem was the challenge from Yeo. Diaz kept going afterwards. It was the challenge from Yeo that would have won him the free kick, the penalty, excuse me. The second challenge wasn't enough. Oh, Bischoff. Not a great place to give the ball away for Bayern. Salzburg sets opportunity. Min Jae Kim trying to snuff it out, and the South Korean steps up to the mark. And Bayern with 55 goals in 15 games in the Bundesliga. The record set by the German record title holders in 1971-72 when they scored 101 under Udo Lattek, legendary head coach in his own right. They scored 100 under Hansi Flick as a snapshot from range. Sent wide by Vitesse. Young Belgian striker fancied his chances, but Ulreich looked to have it covered. Now Salzburg, as we approach the hour mark, giving a pretty good account of themselves, truth be told. And yes, the half-time substitutions for both teams and the wholesale changes, it wasn't just a handful, it was wholesale changes, have understandably had an impact on the rhythm of the game. Bayern still dominating for the most part. Periodically, we're getting a little sign of life from Salzburg in the final third. But a bit like Jonas Urbig, Sven Ulreich hasn't really been tested, and the closest that Salzburg came was that little double chance from a mistake at the back from Bayern. David Santos Daiber was right place, right time to make 2 vital blocks with the goal at Salzburg's mercy. And at the other end, Salzburg, they tried to get a block on Hiroki Ito's volley, and unfortunately for Yannick Schuster, the young centre-back, his attempted block deflected it beyond Alexander Schlager right on the stroke of half-time, virtually one of the last kicks of the first half. But it was a decisive one. The only goal that separates these sides so far, when there were 6 last season. But Thomas Lech's words ringing true. He said that his side were in a different situation compared to last year. Said they were on a different level. Said he was delighted that the stadium was virtually sold out. He felt that that would be a big plus for them today. And the home crowd haven't had a lot to cheer about. But there is the potential for them still to make the desired impact. Right now, it's the Bayern fans in attendance trying to turn this into a home game as Lennart Karl is found out wide. Lima wanted it inside. Karl went alone. It comes to Lima in the end. The shot goes over. They'll go down as another half chance. That strike not as sweet as the flick of the heel he produced against Stuttgart for his second goal of the season. It was a candidate for goal of the year in the Bundesliga. A vote won by Hamburg's Luka Vuskovic for his scorpion kick in the first Nord derby in over 7 years in the Bundesliga between Hamburg and Werder Bremen. I mean, it really was one of the best goals you'll ever see, let alone this year, coming from a young centre-back in a derby at a crucial moment when it was 1-1 to make it 2-1. I mean, it literally had all the things that you want in a goal of the year candidate. It ticked so many boxes, and it was nothing short of spectacular. Bayern had, I think, 7 nominees in the vote. Lima's back heel was one. Luis Diaz had 2 goals nominated. One of the few awards that Bayern won't win this season, but something tells me it's an award they won't cry into their cereal about tomorrow morning. And if anything, they've still got 19 games left in the Bundesliga campaign to score an even more impressive goal for goal of the season. Neat play by Bayern. Chavez, cheeky back heel. Now Luis Diaz to Gnabry. It opens up. It saves Gnabry. Chavez on the follow-up. Sends the half volley over. Brilliant play from the youngster Felipe Chavez. Linking it all up. Sensing the second chance opportunity. And again, fraction of a second in it there. But Gnabry's shot was, again, dangerous. As Ulreich now has to channel his sweeper keeper. We saw Jonas Urbik do that a couple of times in the first half to good effect. Ulreich follows suit. Bischoff does well to recover what was a loose pass from Serge Gnabry. Diaz. Oh, wins the ball well, Luis Diaz. Still going, Luis Diaz. And still, oh, this is absolutely spellbinding from Luis Diaz. He goes down looking for the free kick. He's waved to his feet. Was looking to get on the end of the cross from Offley. Carl. This time cuts inside. Cross blocked. Tar tries to step out with some front foot defending and loses out, but Min Jae Kim doesn't. Kim now to Offley. Looking for the bounce pass to Diaz. Now, truth be told, Bayern are sitting relatively comfortably despite the narrow lead. They are, without question, looking the likelier to get the next goal. But football is a funny old game, and sometimes it doesn't quite work that way. Bischoff under pressure. Momentary retreat. Tar's pass. Carl went for the flick when maybe something more basic would have been better advised, but Bayern come away with it. So difficult to get off the ball. Karl bundled over on that occasion. Given away. So wasteful from Salzburg. Kerim Alajbegovic, the young 18-year-old Bosnian German, signed from Leverkusen's under-19 side by Salzburg, and he's had a big part to play so far this season, including that brace scored in the 2-1 win against Wolfsberger Arte before the winter break. 2 of the 6 goals he's scored in the Austrian Bundesliga this season, to go along with 2 in the Austrian Cup. All unconvincing goalkeeping, to say the least, from Zawishitsky. Felipe Chavez is picking up some very interesting positions through the middle. He and Gnabry seem to be dovetailing quite nicely in terms of who's playing in the 10, who's playing as the lone striker. As a result, it's keeping that Salzburg backline guessing. Just 24 goals conceded in 25 games in all competitions this season for Bayern. 9 clean sheets. And remarkably, this is an incredible statistic, but they have only trailed for 125 minutes in games this season. In case you're doing a bit of quick maths, that's 125 minutes out of 2,250 that Bayern have trailed. I mean, that is remarkable. Vincent Kompany admits there are still things to work on. Defending set pieces, top of his list. While preparations have been short and sweet in the winter, something tells me they won't have been able to iron out all those mistakes, but that'll be addressed over the course of the second half of the season. Felipe Chavez, what a first touch. Diaz went to be inventive as well, inspired perhaps by that Chavez moment. Kim under pressure, goes back to Ulreich. Sweeping pass out to Karl. Takes it in stride. Lovely first touch now. Can't find Gnabry. Might get it back. Pavlovic instead finds Chavez to Karl! Lennart Karl makes it 2-0 to Bayern. The rising star and the breakout star of Bayern's season so far gets another goal to his tally. He started the move, and when it looked like it had broken down, he had the chance to finish it. This is such a cheeky pass from Chavez, but right on the money. And Karl still had work to do. But in those types of positions, Lennart Karl has proven time and time again he has the killer instinct. And he makes it 2-0 to Bayern with just under 20 minutes to play. Not the most glittering or glamorous performance that Bayern have produced under Vincent Kompany, but today that wasn't the priority. Rhythm, fitness, sharpness, and Bayern ticking all the boxes ahead of their match against Wolfsburg on Saturday. And Lennart Karl's star is one that you just cannot stop rising. For all the talk of his dream move being one to Real Madrid, something tells me he's dreaming right now with the performances he's producing with Bayern. Just to give you the full context of that Lennart Karl story that I've mentioned a couple of times, let's give you the full quote. And he said that Bayern is a very, very big club. It's a dream to play there, but at some point I definitely want to go to Real Madrid. That's my dream club, but that stays between us, he said to the fans in attendance. Of course, he had media cameras trained on him, so I think he knew that was a tongue-in-cheek comment. But he also made a point of the fact that Bayern and playing for them is something very special. He said he's having a lot of fun at the club. The fact is, he's not itching to leave. He is itching to make his mark at the highest level. He's itching to make a name for himself. He's got a little bit of Franck Ribéry in him. He's got a little bit of Arjen Robben. He's got a little bit of Lionel Messi. I mean, all the talent is there. The potential is through the roof with Lennart Karl, but there's even talk of him potentially going to the World Cup with Germany in the summer. Here he is, Lennart Karl. Looking for a teammate and finds one. Felipe Chavez gets his first ever Bayern goal as Lennart Karl returns the earlier favour. A quick-fire double for Bayern, inspired by two of their young rising stars. Lennart Karl is a household name already, but Felipe Chavez is maybe a name worth getting familiar with. Lovely movement off the ball to get in front of his marker. Did he get the touch? Did the defender? Does it matter? It's 3-0 Bayern. Wonderful moment for the young Peruvian. Born in 2007. Another player that Bayern believe has a bright future indeed. Salzburg looking for a response. They've got numbers on their side in this break, and that was a foul from Pavlovic. He felt he got the ball and stopped it dead, but there was an outstretched leg that has given Salzburg a free kick in a promising position here, won by Vertessen. And yeah, no doubts about that particular foul. Chance for Salzburg to muster up what would be their first real shot of this second half. Over the wall and off the bar. Thunderous effort from Alay Begovic. To be honest, with the pace he puts on it, he did well to even get it to dip onto the bar. All right, might have had it covered, but that had a lot of threat involved. Bayern would love to come away with another clean sheet here in Salzburg after getting one in a 6-0 win here last season during the winter break as well. Bayern setting up camp in the final third. Kim to Gnabry, just can't turn away from the pressure. Onisiwo does well to keep Salzburg on the ball. The outlet pass to Ale Begovic, hitting him in the back of the head. For Karim Onisiwo, it's going to be a short second half stint as he's going to be replaced by Oliver Lukic. ...19 years old, born in Vienna, of Croatian descent. Bayern still battling away for every scrap. They are not content at 3-0 up. It's exactly the level of hunger, desire, determination that Vincent Kompany demands at all times from his team. He talked in his Christmas message to the Bayern fans about the fact that working with this team is pure joy, and said he feels the hunger for more every day, and says that ultimately he and his players want to continue being creative and bringing the Bayern fans joy with their style of play. He said that these players didn't start playing football because they wanted to chase after the ball. They started playing football because they wanted to be active, and he says that is how he promises his side will approach 2026. High bar, a very high bar set indeed by Vincent Kompany and his charges. But Bayern once again have that aura of invincibility about them. It was one that got lost a little along the way as they transitioned from some of their most successful eras, some of their most successful head coaches. But Vincent Kompany brought in, even if he wasn't the first, second, third, or maybe even fourth choice. My goodness, what a brilliant choice he's proven to be. Bayern, the first Bundesliga team to ever top the standings for every match day of a whole calendar year in 2025. Lima on the overlap. 2 for Kompany. Tries to channel his inner Lennart Carl there and dipping all the way through. That's a lovely moment. It's a short second half appearance for Dennis Offley as well, but a Bayern debut. As Javier Fernandez, the young Spaniard, comes on. He was part of the Bayern side in pre-season at the beginning of the previous campaign. Unfortunately, a very nasty knee injury sidelined him. Meanwhile, Guido Della Rovere coming on for the scorer of the third and setter-upper of the second, Felipe Chavez. 1 goal, 1 assist. In a little second half cameo, he's got to be very impressed and pleased with the impact he made. Just got to seize your opportunities, and this was one of them for Chavez. And even if it means a couple of extra training sessions with the senior side in the second half of the season, that would be hugely beneficial to a player of his age. Diaz, offside flag is up against the Colombian. Just to go back to Javier Fernandez, the reason that knee injury was so nasty was genuinely because he seemed to be on a trajectory to start breaking into the Bayern senior squad. If you watched his performances in pre-season before the injury, or even for Bayern's youth teams, the composure, the leadership qualities he displayed, and then the ability to play under pressure, neat passes, you know, he's got that little Spanish side to his game. And if you can pick up where he left off, then Bayern have a real gem on their hands. As Ulreich deals with that cross comfortably. The linesman on this near side keeping himself busy, as we're going to see Henry Chase enter the fray for Red Bull Salzburg. Now the atmosphere certainly has been quietened by the 2-goal salvo from Bayern, courtesy of Karl and Chavez. A liner, alone, go it alone. Karl with an interception. Not going to make life easy for Salzburg here, Bayern. Something tells me Vincent Kompany will be drawing similar conclusions to the ones he drew this time last year. A pleasing victory, but the most pleasing factor, no new injuries. Wayward from Alay Begovic. But you have to appreciate the endeavour. He has been a real bright spark off the bench and arguably quite comfortably Salzburg's best player of the afternoon. Now Chase does come on, former Stuttgart man, who joined Salzburg in the summer. 21 years old. Japanese international. And this, if I'm not mistaken, is actually Henry Chase's first appearance for Salzburg, because after his summer move, he picked up a nasty injury. Now he's on the chase. Diaz. Luis Diaz looking for Konrad Laimer. Karl to Laimer now, 3 in the middle weight. Stood up by Laimer, it's over the head of De La Rovere. And a promising chance peters out in the end for Bayern. All given back cheaply though by Salzburg. Pavlovic. To Karl. Good cross from Karl! And cleared off the line by Rasmussen. First time this game you feel like a little bit of luck has been on Salzburg's side. Bayern have had their fair share, but then that's the type of thing that teams, coaches will argue that they earn. Min-Jae Kim. Crisp passing. De La Rovere lets it run. Karl feeding it through to Luis Diaz. Luis Diaz, keeper stranded. Goal at Bayern's mercy, and Leonard Karl with a header to make it 4-0. the most diminutive player on the pitch, rises highest to head home Bayern's fourth and his second. He can't quite believe it, I don't think. That'll be a collector's item in his career. I doubt he'll score many headers. But what a lovely piece of passing play from Bayern to fashion the chance. Goal-scoring instincts that Harry Kane would be proud of from Lennart Carl there at the back post. Diaz dinked it in. Carl heads home. And Bayern, too short of their 6-0 win last season against Salzburg at this time last year. But a pretty solid, if not spectacular, outing from the German record title holders. And Lennart Carl, after maybe getting himself in a little bit of hot water for those comments about his dream Real Madrid move, well, that's the way you endear yourself back to the Bayern fans. You get back out on the pitch, you score 2 goals, you set up another, you make way, as we've got another youngster, Maicon Cardoso, the young Brazilian, gets his minutes as Lennart Carl gets his flowers. Oh, and Cardoso, his eyes might have lit up there and the ball looked like it was going to fall to him, but the offside flag would have denied him anyway. Just wonder whether Bayern might push for a 5th to round off the cliched 5-star performance. Cardoso. I mean, this second half has been almost exclusively played in Salzburg's half, with the exception of the flashes of brilliance from Kerim Alajbegovic and the free kick that he hit the crossbar with. It has been all Bayern. They've got a corner here with what might be the last kick of the game, because I'm not sure. Well, I was going to say I'm not sure they'll add many minutes on, but 3 extra on the board as shot comes in from De La Rovere. Fernandez with a poor pass back out to Gnabry, but it makes its way there anyway. De La Rovere. He's a lanky figure, isn't he? The young Italian. Constantly making angles, constantly wanting the ball. Here he is, linking up the play again. Oh, lovely from De La Rovere. Saw the challenge coming from Stefan Leiner. Read the situation brilliantly. We saw there a quick shot of Thomas Lech on the sidelines, and another tough lesson to learn against one of the best teams in Europe, but something tells me he will be pleased that his side at least gave a better account of themselves than they did at this time last year. He said they're on a different level, and their performance today proved it. But Salzburg are still a long way off where they once were, and they are definitely a long way off being where Bayern are. That being said, a lot of teams in world football are, because there's not a lot of teams that are at Bayern's level. Cardoso. De La Rovere. Diaz on the turn, enter the area. Cheeky pass over the top. Oh, what a goal from Tom Bischoff. Diaz deserves the credit for the creativity. But Tom Bischoff still had to apply the finishing touch, and he did with aplomb. Hasn't scored a competitive goal for Bayern. Tom Bischoff, but he'd be pleased with this finish. He went for placement over power. It was the right call. And Bayern 5-0 up. A bitter pill for Salzburg to swallow. Because in the first half, they certainly weren't deserving of 5-0 defeat. The second half performance, tough to argue against. Bayern have shown their quality despite the substitutions, despite the changes, despite the young players being brought on. The hunger levels never dropped. And they are reaping their just rewards. Bayern kick off 2026 the same way they finished off 2025, on winning, dominant terms. The goals flowed freely in the second half. There was just one goal in it at the break. But the young stars stole the show after the restart. Felipe Chavez, Lennart Karl and Tom Bischoff with the goals to round off what was a convincing win for Bayern. Perfect preparations ahead of the start of the competitive campaign in 2026 when they take on Wolfsburg at the Allianz Arena on Saturday. Vincent Kompany talked about laying the foundation for success in the second half of the season. Today, they laid the foundation for success in the second half against Salzburg. 5-0, a little more convincing than the game perhaps was on the pitch. But a 5-0 win is a fantastic way for Vincent Kompany and co to kick off 2026. Delight all around, not just because of the scoreline, but the manner of performance, the rhythm generated, the momentum generated, and of course, the fact that everyone managed to stay injury-free. Nothing more important. Players just taking their time out on the pitch to revel in the moment. We get to take a look back at the match highlights. It started with the opening goal. A slice of luck about it. Hiroki Ito's volley taking a huge deflection off of Yannick Schuster beyond Alexander Schlager. In the second half, Vincent Kompany made 11 changes during the break. They had the desired impact. Lennart Karl with his first, set up by Felipe Chavez. Karl then returned the favour as Chavez got his first ever Bayern goal, albeit not a competitive one. Two young teenagers to keep an eye on. And Karl was at it again with what will be a rare goal in what could be a glittering and illustrious career, because I don't think it's many times that young, small Lennart Karl will pop up with a header like he did there, but then it was rounded off by this lovely finish from Tom Bischoff in the end. A 5-0 win that looked comfortable, was comfortable. Bayern's fine goal-scoring form continues. 85 goals in all competitions in 25 games. Today they got 5, albeit they don't count to the season tally. And the fact is, Bayern are a formidable force once again, not to be reckoned with under Vincent Kompany. And if he claims that they've laid the foundation to achieve all their goals in 2026, then what's on offer? The Bundesliga title, far from wrapped up, but they are in a commanding position at the top of the standings. 41 points to their name. And already with a 9-point buffer above Borussia Dortmund. In the DFB Pokal, they take on Leipzig at the Allianz Arena in February. Big game as Bayern look to return to winning ways in the DFB Pokal. a competition they haven't won since 2020.
Martin und Fritz, genau so sieht's aus. Jonas Urbig ist bei mir. Jonas,
of course, in the Champions League they're looking good as well. But for now, let's hear from Jonas Urbig.
Dein Fazit aus nach den ersten 45 Minuten, nach den ersten 90 Minuten.
How would you sum up
von dir gespielt
the first game of 2026? I think they were good. We've won the game 5-0, which is a credit to the attacking department as well as the defensive one as well. We scored a lot of goals, but we were stable defensively as well, and that's a great way to kick off the new year. The new year started on Saturday. It's a short preparation phase. How do you use it at best to be fit in time? It's all about training and then regenerating as well, and it's so important that we generate the momentum in training to hit the level that we want to be at, and ultimately the levels we were performing at before the winter break. And after today, we're very optimistic. There's a chance we might get another interview or two. For now, some selfies being taken by the younger generation, many of whom made their Bayern debuts today. Lovely moments for the likes of Guido Della Rovere, Felipe Chavez, Maicon Cardozo, and Dennis Offley. Vincent Kompany just taking a bit of time with his Belgian compatriot. Jorbe Vertessen, the Salzburg striker, who had some good moments in the game, in the first half in particular. Not enough to trouble Vincent Kompany in his backline, though, who continue to produce some pretty formidable form. Just one defeat in 25 games so far this season. 2 draws, 22 wins on top of that. The only defeat coming against Arsenal. And that game, again, feels like a bit of an anomaly. After the fact, still don't think the first goal should have stood. Now let's hear from Josip Stanisic with Lukas Strickner. 90 minutes in the books. Jonas Urbig was happy with the performance. How do you feel about it? In the first half, we came into the game well. We lost the dominance a little bit. We gave away the ball a little too much, and they created a bit of pressure as a result. But we won the first half 1-0. In the second half, I think we were even better in the second half. We took our chances, and ultimately a very successful start to the new year. So you've had 13 days off. A couple of you guys went on holiday. Some of you went on holiday together, so that you met on holiday as well. But how much are you looking forward to the second half of the season? Yeah, we were able to recharge our batteries well. It was important to turn our heads off for a little bit. Sometimes that could be underestimated. We get back underway on the weekend against Wolfsburg, and everyone is very ready for the start of the second half of the season.
Nach München, die nicht so weit ist, und damit verabschieden wir uns auch hier aus Salzburg.
It's time for us to say goodbye as well from Salzburg. It was very cold down in Austria, but a lovely game, a lovely friendly against Salzburg. Bayern successfully starts the new year of 2026. Hopefully, the year has a lot more in store. Thanks for joining us here on FC Bayern TV+. We'll see you again on Sunday for the start of the Bundesliga. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned to our channels. Thanks for joining.